This is Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. So let me start the presentation. I think it is much awaited to know about how exactly the market is going to be in the year 2010. Let me focus the camera over that of the PowerPoint presentation. So it is an exclusive webinar for fxtrade.com. Nowhere I'll be presenting it other than my site. So Forex market for the year 2010. So it is an exclusive forecast pertaining to that of the majors and the commodity pairs, and it is given between 15 and 15:45 GMT on January 15th, 2010. I'm going to give certain interesting aspects which are not normally discussed in my webinars, so you can follow it. If you've got any questions, you can ask me. Now, why we need to know the forecast? See, the Forex market is known for its volatile moves. So obviously, many people will not be able to withstand even the intraday moves when the usable margin is low. But in case if they want to do the position trades, where the volatility will be very big, it is very difficult to withstand. So obviously, in such a basically unexpected up and down moves happening in the market, we need to know whether it is going to move up or come down in a given time, and also down the line for a week and a month and the year and subsequent years. So this is an anxiety of every trader. So obviously, if you try to learn or to get an idea about the long-term forecast, then we can fine-tune our trades in line with it of the long-term forecast and try to do effective trading. And we can plan our trades accordingly. So also we wish to know beforehand when the big down move or an up move could happen and long-term trend for position trading. And whenever you come across very big up and down move, unexpected move or unexpected events in the market, then you come across a lot of calamities happening. You know that in the year 2008, late 2008 and also in 2009, we came across a lot of such unexpected events because of that even the big banks are closed down and things like that. So obviously it will be a pressure on that of the traders, whether anything can happen and things like that. So we will be interested to know how exactly the long term is going to be, whether the market is going to be trending or when exactly the trend reversal is going to happen so that we will exit out of the positions, etc. And normally we use the technicals and the fundamental analysis, and there are two setbacks. One is the intraday and the long-term trend reversals are not given beforehand. It gets confirmed once it happens. So if you, in our trading position, if you fail to exit out of our position, or if you try to take a highest level buy position, then the risk of holding will become very, very high, or the lowest level sell positions, then it becomes extremely adverse. So obviously we need to know about the trend reversal. The second important thing is the timings of the market. So when exactly the market is going to have that upward move, when exactly it is going to have a downward move, and in between there could be intraday swings that we will be able to withstand if you are a position trader. But if you are totally against the trend of the market, then you will find the pain will be really killing us. So market timings for the moves are crucial, and when the reversal could happen, will help the trading. So based on these two parameters, namely when exactly the trend reversals are going to happen and what is the time frame of that, if you could analyze, then it will be easy for us to do our long-term trading plans. So accordingly, I am going to take this particular special year, the possible event in the year 2010. Now it is a new decade, so you will come across a lot of new changes coming in. Besides, based on my algorithm study, I have found out certain aspects I thought that I can share with you. The stock markets in the world, I am not referring to any specific country stock market, the world stock markets, are to have profit booking and distressed drop moves in this particular year, and they were holding high, and you may come across the going is good then subsequently you will find that surprise is going to happen, similar to that of the surprise what has happened in the case of the currency market last year. Underperformance of many prime stocks could become the main surprise in the case of the stock market. So it may or may not be relevant to the economic conditions, but it might be due to that of one-sided positions of the traders. The traders could find buy and sell trade becomes viable and that becomes easier. Probably they can do delivery-based trading or without leverage or with leverage the trading, and if they hold it for 2-3 days, they will be able to book profit in that. So that sort of sentiments will totally get changed, and you will find any level buy, you may not be able to hold for a longer time and try to book profit down the line for about 3-4 months or 5 months, etc. That sort of scenario is going to happen with regard to stock market. What is going to be the scenario with regard to forex market? Now you come across a very thin market. Forex market has thinned down quite a lot. The moves have become very subdued, and which is expected to become very volatile in thin volume to start with, and subsequently in the third quarter of this year, the volume is going to pick up very nicely. Then you will find the volume based volatility will be seen in the market, and that will be a real scenario to watch. And that was a condition what we have seen in the case of 2002, 2003, 2004, and we used to see volume based moves in the market and not a thin volume moves. So similar to that of the downward move, even the upward moves will be very, very significant in this particular year. Then what is going to happen to that of Euro and GBP? They are going to rise. I'll explain about that of specific currencies after completing this. As far as the commodity market, it is going to underperform. There will be a reduction in the volume, and you will come across the glitter of gold might gradually decline. And also people thinking that trading oil could be very interesting, and they may probably shift from that of the commodities to that of the currency market. And you know that a lot of platforms are trying to incorporate the commodity instruments into that of the trading platforms, and they may find that the volume gets reduced in the case of the commodity market and gradually picks up in the forex market. This is only an expectations or a derived information. We have to wait and see whether it comes true or not. I have done in the case of 2009 similar webinars, and subsequently I reviewed my calls also after about 6 months and after about 12 months, and probably those who are attended might be able to understand that I am giving the projections now, and I will compare it with that of the actuals as we proceed. Then surprise world event in the month of March, April or November, December times to put US dollar under pressure. There could be a unique event. I do not know exactly what could be the unique event. And a similar, probably I do not want to give more details. Probably in the year 2001, I had given a forecast of this nature that US dollar will be under severe pressure in September. You know what has happened. And so in the month of March, April and November, December, there could be something surprising happen in the world, which could really put enormous pressure on the US dollar. And then you come across a phenomenal change happening with regard to this. It's a geophysics I'm talking about. Probably I will not describe in detail that Earth axis tilt and shift. This is very important thing. Probably I'll just show a Google search for you to have a better understanding of this. Let me focus the camera over that. So a page is take a Google search, and there the seasons are being displayed. You know that equinox or the tilting of the earth around 23.5 degrees is very important for the seasonal changes. So you come across all the 4 seasons are happening, and this sort of tilting of the axis happens, and you find during this particular process, it is something like a car moving very fast and suddenly stop and reversing it and with the same velocity. And this sort of things, when it happens, you come across big calamities on the global surface happen. And you know that Haiti, the tremor is one such thing. And every year, if you watch around the 14th of January, you will come across such tsunami or any such global events will happen. And that is because of this. And it is not only with regard to that of the geophysical matter, even with regard to the human. That is what I am trying to emphasize here. So let me focus the camera over that of the other Google search. So probably you can see that people have started concentrating on this axis shifting and the tilting of the earth, which is gradually increasing. Because of that, you come across there will be panicness in that of the world, and also it will have an impact with regard to the financial market. And as a result, you will come across more and more changing scenario could be seen. And I do not want to take much time here. I'll just display one more. Wikipedia, probably you will get more details about this, and probably you can go through that. I'm not talking something scientific fiction or something like that. It is actual thing. And you know that globe is supposed to make 23.44 degrees tilting, and gradually it will have an impact. And because of that, you will find the financial markets in the world will also get the tilting with regard to the entire shape at which it is being presented. That is why you come across a lot of things in US with regard to leverages, etc. So I do not want to go into the details of it. So there will be emotion triggering aggressive market moves, and that could be seen in down the line towards end of this month and next month. Then you will come across that from the subdued market move condition, it will become sudden aggressive market moves. So we have seen that the tilting is influencing the change of the seasons, and it is not only the seasons of the global surface, it will be the seasons of the market as well. That is why I used to give the forecast with regard to that of the daily, weekly, then monthly, then seasonal and yearly forecast. So I will go to that of the forecast as such, and I have given it in a blog also. Probably some of you would have read it there, that because of the eclipse and because of the new moon effect, you come across a subdued move in the market. This is how the celestial bodies, using the electromagnetic impulses, can, or the waves, they can influence the market. It is not only with regard to the currency market. You check whether the commodity market or whether it is the stock market, why suddenly the market becomes subdued. So there is an extraneous influence pertaining to that. And even though it is a man-made market, and the man is filled with emotions, and once the people become cautious and defensive or stunned, then you will find the market also becomes subdued like a holiday. So on Asian Session webinar on Wednesday, I was giving the call that Friday the market will be very subdued, and that is what happening now. Now let us come to that of reality with regard to the market levels. This is what many of the people are interested. And 2000 year end closing levels are given here, and 2010 year beginning levels, 2009 and 2010 levels are given here. And you come across market is almost hovering around for the past 2 weeks around the same level. So what are the expectations? Now in the early to mid-January, USD gaining moves will be seen. So I don't have any bias with regard to US dollar or with regard to euro or GBP. Keep in mind that I only find it that I use the algorithm to find whether I can do a buy and sell trade in the case of euro or a sell and buy trade in the case of euro. That is what I look at it, and I do not go into that of the economic conditions of the various countries, and probably those who are familiar with me might be aware of it. So early to mid-January, US dollar gaining moves will be seen. USD yen lower level. That is what I was giving in the first week of January, that USD yen is expected to come down. It has come down from that of 93 area to 90 area. So probably from here it is expected to reverse. Then late January to that of early April. So nearly about 2 months will come across USD loosening moves in the market, and that will be a very significant move. I'll display it in the form of a chart as far as euro is concerned, but other charts I will not be able to display because they are all meant for their subscribed members. Then USD yen swing and rise move will be seen. That will be a typical contrarian move. Probably I will explain for those who are not familiar with the contrarian move with the help of the live market quote page. I will focus the camera to that of the live market quote page. You can see here that euro is showing a net change of 131 pips negative, GBP is showing a net change of 58 pips negative, and USDN is showing a net change of 33 pips negative. So euro and GBP are showing USD gaining move, and USDN is showing USD weakening move. So this is what referred as a contrarian move, and this sort of downward move now we are seeing as a contrarian move. Then similar to that, an upward contrarian move will also be seen very frequently. Let me go back to that of the slide again, because I wanted to demonstrate to you by referring to that of net change how exactly you can read the contrarian move. And whenever there is a US data release, obviously you will expect all other currencies. If the US data is bad, then all other currencies are expected to gain. But you will not come across a scenario wherein some currencies gain and some currencies lose. And that is what is expected in last year as well as this year. Then from mid-April to early July, we'll find USD gaining nominal moves. Then USDN will be making a middle level swings at that time. A swing of about $5 to $7 will be seen at that time. Then mid-July to early October, quick USD loosening moves again will be seen. Probably any such event could be a trigger for that, and you might see a phenomenal loss with regard to the USD, and euro and GBP will gain very appreciably irrespective of their economic conditions. And USD yen is also expected to gain, and that will be a USD weakening move. So all others will be, USD strengthening move. So all other currencies will be showing USD losing move, whereas USDN will be showing USD gaining move. That sort of moves will be seen. And mid-October to end December, USD big losing moves again will be seen, and that will come across very similar to that of 2008. How exactly any level you buy, you will be able to book profit. That sort of conditions will be seen from mid-October till end December. Now, with regard to the commodity pairs, now let me explain the range. Okay. Now, with regard to the levels, so expected range in the case of majors, Euro USD is expected to trade around 1.42 to 1.58 in this particular year. GBP is expected to trade around 1.57 to 1.89, higher than that of last year high, and Euro also higher than that of last year high. Then USD CHF is expected to make a contrarian move, and 1.01 we have seen, 1.12 level it could rise to, and next year it will go to 1.30 and things like that. USD yen will have a range of 90.50, that is what you come across now, to 107.50. So more contrarian moves could be seen. I give an explanation how the contrarian move could be. This European session you would have seen that GBP was holding or rising, Euro was dropping. That is one contrarian move. Or other occasion you would have seen that Euro rising and GBP dropping. Many occasions we have seen it. And Euro rise and CHF also rise. That is a contrarian move. Euro and GBP rise and USD yen also rise. It's a contrarian move, and similarly they can drop. That is what I had displayed it in the live market quote page. So the contrarian moves benefit the players. So you can understand that the limitations with regard to the players. That is why I said benefit the players. When they make less investment and take less exposure, still they make profit by handling all the majors and the commodity pairs when they make contrarian moves. So when they make some USD weakening move in one currency and USD gaining move in one currency, that USD will be released, that will be used in other currencies to it. Earlier, probably people would have been seeing a condition like in 2002 to 2003, etc., that money used to flow from that of the commodity markets to stock market to currency market, back to that of commodity market like that. But with the market, now we will come across that sort of scenario will be seen. Besides, we will also come across the sequential trend reversals. That I'll explain it. So these are all the ranges. Anyhow, this webinar is being recorded. There is no need for you to take screenshot. You will be able to listen to the webinar again and see all the slides presented there, and from time to time you can make references to that. And you can ask questions in the blog also. Then with regard to Australian dollar, it is expected to have a range of 0.87 to 0.95. They are all estimated levels. It can vary. They are not absolute levels, statistically derived levels. So there could be limitations or variations or standard deviations. You have to understand. And they are all derived based on the cluster and principal component analysis. So obviously the error factor, probability factor is part of statistical calculations. You have to keep it in mind. Then don't try to blame me that it has gone only up to 93 and it has gone up, not gone above and things like that. But Australian dollar is going to lag behind, and already we have seen 0.93. It will not be able to gain very significantly, very similar to that of Euro and GBP. And USD CAD range is going to be around 1.0 to 1.17. So these are all their estimated ranges. There can be a deviations from them. Then contrarian moves could also be seen in the case of the commodity pairs. I have shown during Asian session webinar many days that how exactly USD CAD is rising and Australian dollar also rising. That is one type of contrarian move. So one will be making USD gaining move, other one will be making USD losing move. That sort of things will be seen. That is referred as a contrarian move. So if you got any doubt, you can ask me later, because I have to rush up with all the slides within 45 minutes. There will be a sequence of reversal moves expected. So first of all, Australian dollar and Canadian dollar, the commodity pairs are expected to show the reversals. So track them. So they will lead the rally and lag behind. Keep it in mind. Then subsequently, the yen crosses are expected to reverse. Then once the yen crosses reverse happen, that is, they come down and started moving and not reaching the low again, then you can start expecting the reversal in the case of the majors. Then finally you will come across the reversals in the case of the European crosses. This is how from last year the players are doing it, for the simple reason that they are not willing to put all the money into that of the market, and they are conservatively handling the market, still handling different currency pairs during different time frame of the day. They are trying to earn. Sometimes you find they are struck with Euro GBP position. I am sorry to explain this here. And they took such a long time to get out of that, and now they have come to 0.88 area. This is what many people have been asking when Euro GBP was going up, and people thought that Euro and GBP would probably reach parity, etc. Now, the yearly forecast charts are given in iknowindices.com for the privilege and the premium members, and they are all for the position traders and the institutional traders. I will show one sample Euro USD chart now. I'll focus the camera over that. This is the predicted chart for the year 2010, Euro USD yearly predicted chart. The levels are given on the x-axis and the weeks are given. Y-axis, the levels are given, and you come across the weekly levels are given, and you find a dark blue line, which is the weighted moving average. Depending upon the estimated volume variations, they are all calculated using specific statistical calculations. It's a sequential algorithmic calculations. So you'll find, as I explained, that in the month of April, first and second week, the peak will be reached, and there could be a deviation from here about 150 to 350 pips. So keep it in mind that don't think that this is the high. Probably they may not reach the high, or probably if they go in for the downward standard deviation or a normal deviation, then probably it can go up to this level. Or if they are able to really, if the volume picks up, then probably they can go higher than this also. So keep that in mind, that nearly about 300 to 500 pips variations could be possible. So I give the yearly forecast and subsequently fine tune it and give it to the members. And also I give the forecast in the expected market moves in a blog also. You know how exactly I fine tune and give the updates. Then the black line, what you come across is the moving average for the year. It is not the specific day moving average. The entire year, the moving average, simple moving average could be of this nature. Probably at the end of the year or middle of the year, you can check whether the moving average, what you come across, either 200 days and above, whether it is following similar patterns. Then you will be able to understand that market is predictable. That is what I am trying to confirm. And if you have a perseverance, then you will be able to really understand the market and then trade accordingly. So as long as it is man-made, it is predictable. So you come across the peak in the month of April, then in the month of June you will come across a deep fall, June second week to fourth week. Then you come across in the month of October, there will be a drop and sudden spike up. And that is going to be a very killing scenario in the market. So keep it in mind, and they may probably bring in risk aversion scenario and subsequently make the rise and things like that. So it could be a risk aversion move, downward move in the case of euro, and probably USD weakening move subsequently, like what you have seen in early January and that is last year, and also in 2009 early January and February, how exactly they made the risk aversion call very frequently, and that sort of moves could be seen. So this is a chart, and you can probably take a screenshot and make a comparison. Otherwise, it will be available in the recording. Keep a tag on the recording and you can probably frequently check, and if it is useful for you, you can make use of it. I am not expecting any reward, and I am expecting only those who are interested in a specific type of trading use it as an additional input for their analysis and try to do the trades. And I'll focus the camera back instead of the slide. In 2010, it is a year starting with the USD gaining moves and ending with a big USD losing moves. Euro and GBP are expected to gain the higher levels range what high was seen during 2008. And USD-Yen is expected to gain significantly more one-sided moves as seen. Don't think that USD is going to lose the glamour. I always call it as a sleeping giant, and USD in 2011, USD will be gaining in a very significant way as a market surprise, like how exactly we have seen in early 2009. And the position trading strategies following this particular yearly trend. So you should have a purpose for this particular analysis. The position traders and derivative traders, currency conversion traders, that is, those who try to convert the currency from one currency to another currency and keep it in the bank, and whenever the other currency becomes weak and try to get the maximum benefit out of that, and that sort of currency conversion trade. And international exporters and importers, those who are going for a forward cover and the swaps, probably they wait for a long time for the realization of the money, and also those who are taking institutions or other their financial companies which are interested in borrowing loans from less interested countries and trying to use it in the other countries where they will be able to get the benefit out of that. And such people will be interested in forward cover and swaps in order to see that what the interest disparity, they get it as a benefit. They should not lose it in the currency fluctuation. And invariably they go in for a forward cover and the coverages of other nature. But still, if they use the long-term forecast and they can make use of this and try to earn out of their forward covers and closing and opening of the forward covers. So can buy now Euro and GBP. So around the current level, yeah, probably around the current level, and any drop, a brief drop from there, you can accumulate positions and USD-Yen around the prevailing levels now and exit in the month of April and re-enter in July and exit in early December. Probably make a note of it and do a demo trade and find how much you are able to earn or how much you are able to lose and give the feedback to me. convert other majors into US dollar by 2010 year to earn during USD gaining time in 2011, and I was giving the same call in 2008 that converted into US dollar, euro and GBP. Then you will be able to see that the USD gaining in a very big way, and that's what happened in early 2009, and those who have followed would have benefited out of that. So I will review the forecast once in 4 to 6 months depending upon the slot available in FX Street. This webinar is recorded and displayed under the fxstreet.com/live/transcript for you to review from time to time for your own use. I will present similar webinars to assess the yearly forecast and more in the blog. You can ask questions. I'll be able to answer those questions. So I will just minimize the slide. I have about 15 minutes to go, and I'll take up the questions which are asked. Those who are interested in the market, I will focus the camera over that of the slide to see how exactly the market is so sluggish now. Whether data release or not, the market looks very sluggish. That is how the extraneous influence is. So Raj. Okay, there are various speculations. I do not want to take up those things. Then Ethiopia, I cannot understand what does that have to do with the forex market. Okay, now the celestial events and any of the extraneous influence, if you think that they are not having the influence, you have to understand that they emit the electromagnetic waves, and there are specific ways. Probably many people would have understood that, or those who have studied astronomy a little bit may know that there is a troposphere around our globe, and that is protecting us from that of the cosmic rays, and even the space shuttle, which cannot directly enter into it, and it has to come at an angle, otherwise it will be thrown out into that of the space. So you know that there was an accident also similar to that, and they have to enter at an angle, only then they will penetrate into that of the earth and the global air atmosphere. And so when there is a celestial event, you come across such cosmic rays, they get phased out, and instead of passing directly, they will pass at an angle because of the refraction. As a result, you will find they will penetrate into the of the global surface and into that of the atmosphere. And you know, see the power of the rays. See, you know that you are using a cell phone, and which is emitting the electromagnetic waves, and which is able to get transmitted to that of the satellite and get back. No, that is the power. That is the distance at which they can pass. And you know that when you are inside a building also, that you are able to speak, so that waves can penetrate through the walls. So our head is not such a big wall, and it can penetrate and influence our brain, and especially the endocrine glands. And when the endocrine glands are triggered, you find a phenomenal effect happening. We become aggressive, panic, and express all sort of erratic emotional conditions, and you find any emotional decisions will be wrong. So ultimately, it will lead to the wrong decisions. That is what. So I am just cautioning people that not to become emotional, nothing more than that. And it is because of the extraneous stimulus, not because of the market fluctuation. And today, for example, the market is making a very slow, subdued move. But if you refer to that of my blog, there are so many interactions. Why? That is how it happens. And that is how the extraneous influence induce the people and make uncontrollable expressions, like the drunkard person. Okay. Chinoy, where do you see pound in the next week? Do you see them testing last week low? So pound could be, it is expected to make a drop, slide today, and probably it can make one downward extended stop end. Without an extended stop end, it will not be able to rise. So keep it in mind. The level I will not be able to estimate. Depending upon the momentum, it has to be estimated. And doctor, what is your forecast? Fairly accurate last year in GBV. I was not here. Yeah, it was fairly good. I presented a conclusion during mid-December and displayed the same slides with the actuals. Probably those who attended could be able to explain. Okay. In short, you think that dollar will be weak through 2010? Yes. Try to accumulate other currencies, other majors. If you have small reserve, which currency should you keep in this? I recommend you to keep it either in euro or GBP. Can you go back to the numbers chart and show how, yeah, anyhow, it is being recorded. I don't have much time. Probably you can refer to that and you can still ask questions in the blog. I'll be able to answer to that. October usually black companies poor performance. I do not know, but this is how it coincides. So I have not studied any of those fundamentals what conventionally used, and I go in the forecast, and probably there will be several attributes. So earlier when the US data was weak, people used to say that risk aversion. Now when the US data is weak, people are telling that it's USD weakening move. So the interpretation can vary, but the moves are destined to happen. That is what I believe in it. Then Eric, do you have range forecast for main crosses? Now I have done studies only with regard to the majors. From the majors, the crosses can be derived. Because I don't have much time to do all those things, please. What is your forecast for? Yeah, again it is a cross. I have not done much study. And Ketan, currently is there more slide left in AUD and GBP? Yeah, AUD could make wide range swings here, and whenever there is a correction in GBP or Euro, AUD will take that advantage and drop first. Thereby it will be having a lesser range swings in this particular year. When are you expecting gold to go below 1010? Yeah, very soon we will come across. I am just waiting because the players need to offload their position. It is very similar to that of Euro GBP position. Euro GBP, they have been accumulating and every day they have been rising 200, 300 pips, and it was happy going for those who have been doing buy and sell trade. But when they wanted to get rid of it, players, they find it extremely difficult. That is why you find so much of fluctuations in the case of Euro GBP. For that, they are making up and down moves in the case of GBP, holding Euro, and sometimes holding GBP, making up and down moves in the case of Euro. Similar to what you come across. So these are all difficult tasks for them. So they will not try this sort of trades, accumulation and over trading in future. You know that they had done year for last year in the case of oil. They took oil to 140 level dollars and subsequently somehow escaped. And now they had done it with regard to gold, taking up to 1,228. And later on they dropped it and they are holding above there and they want traders to buy. But the traders are disappearing. So how do they exit out of that position and get back their money so that they can pump in other market and earn? The money cannot sleep, it has to earn. So that sort of fear is happening. That is why you come across in the market that lesser investment and contrarian moves are happening. So understand that the players do have their limitations as long as they are human. The players were listening to my forecast? Yes. They are listening to my forecast, and it is not only from now, from 2001 onwards, and I know I have a lot of indirect interactions. Where get more info of your materials such as the players and the, okay. No, I have not prepared any book because they are all in the form of conspiracy theory. It cannot be published in the form of the book. Neo Model 1 standard edition is 300 pips. Standard deviation is 300 pips. No, not like that. Only at the time of peak. The extreme level could be 300 pips. That's what I mean. Otherwise, the normal standard deviation is applicable. So LIC. So for position traders, mostly buy Euro and GBP, USD and USD CAD and USD CH. Yes. So, but if you have adequate holding capacity, then you can hold it. If you have very less equity, then intraday moves will be there. You have to protect yourself using the hedging or limit the risk by taking actual currency conversion or less leverage. So we can expect a very big rise in 2010. In the case of Euro Yen, yeah, possible, because when they make mostly contrarian moves. Then Euro has dropped considerably, but GBP is still holding on. I explained that the players wanted to get rid of Euro GBP. So for that, they have to hold the GBP and drop Euro. Only then they will be able to get rid of it. They have to find the buyers to give it to them. Market is not just made by the players. It is made by the players, but they need the participants. Do you think there will be a pair easier to read or trade compared to others? Yeah, invariably you will find, based on the past experience, you will find it much easier to read the players' intentions because they are going to make similar moves this year. You have bundled up Euro, GBP and USD Yen in one group to be bought now, sold in April. Does that mean Yen is bearish? Yes, Yen is expected to lose against USD. As I explained, the reason for it is unwinding, getting out the dollar there and putting into other currencies. Okay, moon cycle influence forex market. It is not only the moon cycle, it is the electromagnetic impulses coming from that of various stars and the planets. They are all influenced. We have studied using specific spectrometers and we have found that it is really making influence decision-making abilities with regard to various animals and also with regard to humans. A placebo test, we have done it and we have found that it is really happening. And probably it has been scientifically proved that during lunar days and the solar days, you find that the lunatic people become very, very aggressive. And similarly, you come across the tidal rhythm, and that is very well known fact. And the animals which are in the tidal zone, they become very aggressive during that particular time. So I need not prove beyond that. Can the monthly trends you predicted be delayed? Yeah, there can be a delay with regard to the the trend up and down moves, because there could be a volume variation, which to a certain extent I have incorporated, but it is extremely difficult to incorporate the absolute volume, foreseeing what could be the possible volume in future. But I will be able to relatively derive certain amount of volume variations. Probably I try to give an analogy here, which is referred as the prey-predator model. A predator knows how much of prey is available in a particular place. And when the prey gets depleted, and even the predator will starve for the prey to propagate and multiply, they know very well the next meal is very essential. It is not that they have to cut the golden goose and eat now. Many occasions you come across in the forex market or in other markets, they try to cut the goose later on. They rip and they try to give so many bonuses, especially the platform providers. They have done this sort of unhealthy local stop-ins, and subsequently they find that the client numbers have come down and they are giving several bonuses and several attractions. Instead, if they have a fair trade practice, they could be able to sustain with it of the traders for a longer duration. Also, regarding major fundamental news like UK election, do you think that will impact? Yeah, obviously there will be an impact on that, and you'll come across. But in the year 2004 and 2008, even when US elections were there, I given the forecast, and I was giving the forecast that in 2004 December end, US dollar will be gaining very significantly, and results were out, and George Bush became the president, and the US dollar gained, but that became short-lived because he was having a US dollar strengthening or US strong dollar policy. I don't know what happened, and the dollar became very weak subsequently. How the new proposals in US FX trade like leverage? Yeah, probably you'll come across lesser volume in the markets, and obviously there will be some salvage efforts happening, because obviously this is the only place, market is the only place wherein the money can make money. Otherwise, normally, money has to be converted into effort, and the effort has to be converted back into money. Like employing a person and ask him to put in some labor, and out of that, you earn some money out of that. That is a normal business way. But in market, money earns money with least effort. So as long as the humans have got the speculative mind, then it is going to have their impact in the market, and markets are going to remain forever. Can I see the impact of solar eclipse in your blog? Okay, it is almost getting over. I'll try to wind up. There are so many questions. Probably I request all of you to ask the questions in the blog, then I will be able to answer to those questions. So I take this, I'll focus the camera over that of the slide. So I will just show the levels. Some of the people have asked for it. The type of moves and also the levels in the case of Euro, GBP, USD, CHF, Yen, and in the case of Australian dollar and Canadian dollar. Then I'll show the chart of, I'll take about 1 minute and show the chart of the year 2010, the predicted chart for the year 2010 for the latecomers. So you can just take a screenshot and review it probably if you want. And I'll go back to the other slide. So what is the advantage of the long-term forecast? I have given it here. And I will review it again after about 3 months or 4 months or whatever it is, depending upon the market move. So I take this opportunity to thank FX Street and also you for your patient listening, and FX Street for recording this webinar and keeping it available in their website so that many people will be interested and probably they can get the benefit out of that once they get convinced that it is working predominantly. Thank you all for your presence here. So I take this opportunity to thank you once again and see you in Asian Session webinar on Monday. Thank you all.